Hello everyone, I'm Buford MC, and welcome back to more GregTech New Horizons. I hope you're all doing well today. So, today is going to be a pretty exciting day for us, because today, if all goes well, we should be able to use our first bit of steam power. Now, last time we made the water tank, and we got one of the first two things I wanted to get done before we really get into the steam age, and that was to solve our water issues. And now we're generating our own water from the tank, which we have up above us. And today, what we're going to work on is we're going to work on the steam storage situation, which we need to get into today. So we're going to work on producing our first bit of steam, and we're going to work on storing that today. And hopefully, if all goes well, we should be able to use it. So, let's get right into it. Now, the water tank upstairs has been working, and it just continuously fills up with water. So right now we're up to almost 70 buckets, so we're doing quite well. And as you can see, it just continues to fill up. So that's quite good. We have a smoke hole boiler over here, which we are going to connect that up, and that's probably the first thing we should do. So we're going to want to do that. But before we do that, actually, before I forget, I want to show you something that I have been trying to do. So if we come here, now this is the quest we're going to do first as well. I want to get the iron tank so we can store the steam in it. But we also have a quest over here for obtaining ender pearls. And this is a quest we've had for a while to get 16 ender pearls. Well, what it tells you is you can stuff an enderman into a smeltery to melt it down into delicious liquid ender and cast pearls from it. Well, what you can do is, if you come to the bottom of the quest book, to the coins, you can buy enderman spawn eggs. And that's what I did. I've done this a few times. In fact, we've got an extra one right here. And I want to kind of show you how this kind of works. So, what you do is with the spawn egg, you come up here, and you have to make sure that there's actually something in it. If the smeltery is empty, it's not going to work. So I've got one ingot of tin in there, and what we do is I just throw in the spawn egg. Don't look at him. And there he goes. He starts taking damage slowly, and we start filling up with some of this liquid ender. And with the liquid ender, we can pour this out into a pan cast. Yep, pan cast. Right click, and you start getting ender pearls. I think it's 250 millibuckets. Yep. And yeah, as you can see, that guy's taking damage. He has died. And you get some liquid ender. So, I think we got enough for about 4 ender pearls. Yep, that should be all of it. And we had already a couple in here as well. And we already had quite a bit in here. So there we go. 24 ender pearls, just like that. And that completes a quest. Yep, obtaining ender pearls. So we can get either 8 more ender pearls or a steam age loot bag. I'm going to probably go with the ender pearls. That's probably a better deal for us. And I think we actually completed another quest as well, didn't we? Yep, this one right here. Spatial distortions. So that one, wow. Loot bag tier 2 MV. Interesting. Kind of want to open that right now. Because that's like way ahead of us right now. We're in the... Let's see. We're in the steam age. We still got to get to LV. We're just starting the steam age. We still got to get to LV, and that's MV. So this is way ahead. Shall we give it a try? Let's open it up. Ooh. We got some bread. Well, we already have plenty of that. But we got some good electronic circuits, MV tier. I have a feeling that's something we're not going to be able to make for a very long time. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be a long time before we can make these, so I don't even know if it's worth it to put it in that chest. Let's put it in here for now. We're not going to be touching those for a long, long time. That's quite interesting to get at this point in the game. Let's put these coins away, and then we can get to work on what we actually have to do for today. Oh, that's not that one. It's this one. I thought they were both survivor coins. So, what shall we do first? Let's make the tank. Let's get this quest done first. The iron tank. Let's get this done first, and then we'll work on actually connecting everything up. Because I have done a little bit of work behind the scenes. You may not be able to see it from here, but you'll see it soon. So, what we're going to need is we're going to need to make all of this. Now, this, I think, is going to make us the minimum size, which is a 3x4x3. I've done some calculations, and I think the tank I want to build is going to be a little bit bigger. So this is where we're going to have the steam coming in from. And as you can see, the chunk should align right about here. So it'll be inside this chunk. It'll come right up to this border here. So it's going to be a 3x3 at least this way, but up it might be 5 blocks. I think that works. It says height's 5, diameter's 3. So I think we're going to go with like a 3x5x3 or something. I'm not sure how many extra blocks that's going to be, but we're going to need to kind of just see. So I have prepared several iron plates, but probably don't have enough though. So first we'll just go ahead and try and get some of this quest done. We'll go for 30 iron tank walls, which, let's see how many we can make from what I have. Of course we can't make enough, we're just short. So we need a few more bits. Looks like we just really need plates. Let's make another 32, why not? I've got plenty of iron on me. Let's see. Hammer, let's break that one. I always do it the wrong way around. Well, let's do that. So there's 2 more of those. So that's the 30 of those we need. Let's do the valve. This is a little bit more expensive. Ooh, iron bars, that's a good thing because we just so happen to have some of those somewhere. We did have some of them. Where are my iron bars? Oh, they're already in there. I guess I missed them. Oh yeah, there they are. For some reason I thought they were over there. Okay, so iron tank valve. We just need these large bronze fluid pipes. So we're going to need 4 of these because we're making 2 of those. And that's quite a bit of bronze, so let's just think ahead here and make ourselves half a stack of plates. Why not? A little bit more expensive to do that, but that's alright. And with that, we should be able to make some of these. There we go. Something just broke. I think it was the hammer. So let's make 2 more hammers. So as you can see, we're starting to go through resources a lot quicker now. We're going through a couple of stacks of ingots right now, just trying to make some of these things. So resource demands have increased already, and we're just now getting into the steam age. So we need to make these. There we go. So these are quite expensive to make. And now we need to make these gauges, which are going to need, well, we need more screws. Let's file that down if I've got a file. Oh, I had some actually rods already. That's okay. There we go, file broke. Let's make another one. Let's see, actually, I wonder if a raw iron file's better. Because we got this from, I think it was the loot game, so that's 38,400. You are... yeah, it is better. We've got no need for this yet, so I'm willing to use it. Let's make a raw iron file, why not? Should be at least a little bit better. So we need to make 2 of these. Oh, we need some glass panes, which is just cutting some glass, that's alright. Probably need a little bit extra of that. Because I think what we're going to do is make a little bit extra of these. In fact, let's do that, why not? That's probably fine. So that will complete this quest. It is also nighttime, so let's hop in bed. And let's see what we can do. So let's assemble this thing first, because I want to at least have this kind of system set up, and then we'll work on actually connecting things up as we need. So let me show you now what I've actually been doing. So down here, I've made kind of a little bit of a tunnel that goes right below our kind of area where I plan to have the steam machine. So we've got a little tunnel here. And what we're going to do is we're going to break this part of the floor right here. So directly below you, a 3x3 area. So this lines up perfectly with the tunnel. And we're going to need to put some iron tank walls around the edges. Now, if you actually look up how to build this, I don't think it tells you in here. And that's because it's kind of a variable size difference. It can be quite different. These things can be as big as a 9x8x9, as small as a 3x4x3. So what we're going to also do here, by the way, is we're going to put a valve in the middle, and that should be our output. And now we're going to build this thing up. And what we can do is we have to put these tank walls on the corners, but in the center parts you can put the gauges, which are a little bit cheaper to make. So, no, I didn't want to do that. The other thing also is that sometimes I find that they don't stack once you've already placed them. If I like place them, break it. No, it does stack. Maybe it doesn't do that anymore. We're gonna put that up there, and then we're gonna build this up like so. And I want it a little bit bigger. We might need some more of these gauges still, because I want to get it a little bit bigger than the normal size, because otherwise we just put this up like that. Alright, let's build it up for now and see what happens. Because what I want, because this will work still, although we actually don't have enough of these either. I mean, so basically this would be a completed structure right here, Yep, so there you go, you can see it formed, yes. So we've got this completed, but I want it, I think, one more higher than this. So there we go, we're going to break that. I'm trying to think how we're going to do this. Yeah, we're going to need a few more, so let's actually make a couple more. And we'll probably have more of these tanks later on as well, so something else to keep in mind. But we're going to need a couple more screws, so let's just turn all of these into screws here. That's a screwdriver. I'm looking for the file, which is here. And let's see, what do we need? We're going to need a little bit more gauges. Maybe 4 more. And then let's just see how many of these we can make. Alright, let's see how far that gets us. Might be just short still, but it's a start. Yeah, we might be close. Let's see. That's 3 high. No, in fact, we've got more than enough now. Let's see if it forms. Yes, it did. So now we have 720,000 buckets. So this is going to be good. This is what I wanted. So we've got our steam here, and if we go underneath, we should have kind of a little kind of output area right here. Yep, perfect. So that's what I wanted. And now we've got the steam storage set up all ready to go. And also, I just remembered, I don't think we took this quest yet, did we? Yep. So we can take an iron tank gauge. That's not that bad. Iron tank valve, which is quite expensive. 5 gold ore berries. Do we have those yet? I haven't actually planted any of the other ore berries we have. It's something I'd like to get around to doing to see if there's something we can, use them for. We have the iron, copper, aluminium, and the concentrated essence one. So we don't have the gold ones yet. I think it's between these two right here. I'm gonna take these, just in case. Who knows how long it could be to get them if I want them later on. Let's put these coins away as well. Alright, so now that we've got our iron tank ready to go, now we can start getting into business here, I think, with steam. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get some pipes, because we're going to need to, well, actually, we're going to need to make another one of these. I want to make a second one. This isn't going to be too hard. In fact, I just need 2 bricks. We already have the iron furnace that was gotten from Loot Games as well. There's another small coal boiler. We are going to need this wrench as well today. I did not want to do that. I can fix that later. I want to put that away for now, and I want to put you away for now. Okay, so let's put this guy up here. And we're still going to need to get some pipes, but yeah, this should work perfectly right here. So we're going to have these two things. So what we're going to need to do in order to move fluids and stuff around is we're going to need to use this wrench. Now, first we need to get some pipes, which I know I said we were going to get. I haven't gotten them yet. Let's get some. In fact, we're probably going to need to make some. So this is my new pipe chest I've made. So all we've got right now is some wooden fluid pipes. So this is going to be for the water, so we can probably use wooden fluid pipes. So let's see. Let's go with the normal ones then. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's make 16 for now. So can probably turn off the chunk boundaries now. I think we're okay there. So, to use this thing and get water from it, what we're going to need to do is we're going to just connect a pipe, and it should automatically fill up with water. And what we'll do here is I'll bring this down by 1, I think. We'll connect it with a right click. If we shift right click, we can tell it the direction we want it to go. So we want it to go down. We want to move this here. Now, you don't have to do this for every single block, but it's something I kind of like to do. Now that can get a little bit annoying right there, so what we can do is we can turn that off with the kind of toggle, the little HoloLens glasses. Because that can get a little bit annoying showing all the fluids in the pipes. All we need to do is just bring that along like that, and that should already be filling with water, as you can see there. Connect this one up, and let's just set the directional arrows on these. Alright, good. Now, we wanted to fill these up with water first before we actually power these on, because these things are going to explode if we add water after they're already hot, and we definitely don't want those to explode. So, let's go back down here then. I think what we're going to need to do is get some fuel for those guys. So, that's not going to be an issue. We've got a chest full of it, tons of charcoal, and in fact, I think we even have more charcoal in here. Yep. In fact, that guy's full of creosote oil, so it doesn't keep processing. You still have some space, so we'll put you in there. And we'll just do a stack of charcoal on each for now. So, this should turn it on. This is going to be our first bit of steam we've ever produced. Once it heats up, at least. So, we've got water in both of these. Now you can see it has 16 buckets. This guy has still got 52 buckets. We're still rising. We do need to keep an eye on this number to make sure it keeps rising, but I don't think we're going to have any issues with that. One water tank should be more than enough for these two boilers. So these things are going to continue to heat up now, and eventually we're going to start getting some steam. Now, we have to be a little bit careful with this part, because we cannot move steam in a wooden fluid pipe. If you look here, it says heat limit 350 Kelvin, cannot handle gas. And if we look actually at steam itself, I'm not sure if it's... No, it's going to be from GregTech or something. Let's see. Maybe it doesn't tell you. Steam cell. Yeah, here. Temperature 375 Kelvin, so that's higher than that. So that's something you have to keep in mind when you're working with these pipes. Different pipes have different heat limits, so if we try to put steam into a wooden fluid pipe, it's going to catch on fire, and that's not going to be a good thing. So what we have to use instead are something else, and I think the best candidate for that is actually going to be bronze. So let's put these pipes away for now. And we probably need to get a bit more bronze. Yeah. Let's just take another stack for now. Why not? And let's hammer this down. And let's make some pipes. I don't think I want the large one. don't know. Well, if we actually look at this, these produce 120 liters of steam per second. So both of those combined are 240. We should have more than enough right now to work with 800 for at least getting it in. So let's make some of these. Alright, if my plan here works, we should be able to get away with that. And then we're going to make some of these, I think, with the rest. Okay, that should be enough for now. We don't need that many pipes. So I think what I'm going to try to do, let's see if we can get this to work. Let's go to sleep as well. So, as you can see, yep, we got some steam coming in. Now, in order to get the steam out, we might need a wrench. Let's see. Is it going in? Oh, no, it does go in. I do need the wrench anyways, though, because I needed to connect to both of them. And actually just placed the wrong one. I was going to do the small one, wasn't I? Where's my wrench? Oh, I need a new wrench. That's about to break. Let's make a new wrench. Okay, so we're going to be using this wrench a lot more now. Not just for crafting. So we're going to need that, and we're going to move that over like this, and then... Really what we could have done, actually. What would have been easier was actually to move this over. So, and as you can see, when it fills up, it just kind of moves out the steam and makes that little noise. Yeah, this is fine for now. Connect this from the bottom. Actually, no, I'm using the wrong pipe. I want to use the small pipe, not this one. Let's see here. Let's use the small pipe. So, now we should be filling that tank up. Well, let's go take a look. Yes, there it is. So you can see the steam coming in from the top. And it's going into the tank, so this is starting to fill in. So we've got the small... Let's see if we can get those pipes I dropped here. Yeah, this is. I don't want to lose that. It's quite expensive, to be honest, right now. So now we've got our steam actually coming in. So this is quite good. Quite good. And what we're going to do now is we're going to use this tank here from the bottom. So this thing does, I believe, auto output from the bottom. What we can do is we can just come here. And I think I'm going to put a machine here. Probably going to just have them down in the row over here. So that's the plan. But for now, what we can do is we can connect some pipes up like this. I think we can do something like that. And we can connect you there. And now the steam is being exported into the pipe. Perfect. And we bring that up by one more. And we've got a spot available for our first steam machine to be used. And as you can see, we're getting a decent amount of steam right now. So that's good. Now, these pipes are going to be hot when there's steam in them, so if I go near them, I will take some damage. Not too much, but do be aware of that. It's probably why I'm probably going to move these up by one. I think it's going to be better if we put them both together like that, and then I drop it down. I think that's just going to be better. Yeah, I could do that, though. So, we now have a spot available for our first steam machine. So, let's take a look at the quest book, because there is a machine I want to make. And it's not a big one. We could make this one, but I'm going to save this one for probably the next episode when we get into the steam alloy smelter. We're just going to make a basic kind of steam furnace today. That'll be our first steam machine. So let's go ahead and make that next. So let's see, the steam furnace. Oh, it does need some bronze fluid pipes. Some more of them. So we're going to need a bit more bronze for this. There we go. That should be good. And the steam furnace. We should have everything. We already got one of these. We've actually got a couple of these from loot bags, in fact. There we go. This is going to be our first steam machine. There we go, using steam to cook things. Now, this is probably not going to be any better than this, but what it will be useful for, I think, is it's going to be useful for smelting things down that we don't have a lot of, so that we're not wasting creosote oil. Otherwise, it's not really a big thing we needed, but what we're going to do is we'll just slap this on the steam pipe, and this should start filling up with steam. Now, I don't think we can see its internal buffer, but it does have an internal kind of steam buffer, but if everything works, we should be able to test this thing out with some sort of smeltable item. In fact, let's use some cobblestone. Because we are going to be needing some more stone at some point in the future, because I do have plans to expand the base. Well, in the near future, not quite yet, but we'll get to that in a bit. So let's see if this actually works. There we go. It is quite loud. In fact, it is quite a bit loud. Let's turn that down. Let's see here. Blocks, 20%. Yeah, still quite a bit loud. Let's go with 10% for now. Alright, so as you can see, it does take about... Well, it uses up 160 liters of steam per second. And that's the reason I wanted to make a second one of these. So this is producing 120. Since we've got two, we're producing 240. This guy uses 160 liters of steam per second. So it's not too bad, really. But, yeah, so that's quite good. We're finally getting into some steam power. We have some steam production. We have some steam storage. We have some steam machines now. And we are getting it. But, yeah. This isn't really good for smelting kind of bulk things. This is going to be a better system. Creosote oil is essentially for me free, really. We've got so much of it, I'm not too worried about that. But for a small quantity of items, this isn't really a good example, but for a small quantity of items, it's quite good. For example, if I wanted to get a tiny bit of iron, let's say from this yellow pile of yellow limonite dust, I want to get some iron from that. We just take this guy out, we wait for that to finish, throw you in, and we can smelt that down instead of having to use a whole bucket of creosote oil to process it. But it is quite slow, but as we get the better machines, this will speed up quite a bit. So, yeah, it is something we want to keep in mind, I think. So yeah, this is quite good. I'm quite happy with how we've kind of been able to set up the steam system. So, that is quite good. We did complete a quest as well. We got a lamington. Some sort of a cake, it looks like. So that's quite good. So yeah. So we got our steam system set up. Looks pretty good. Basically, what I wanted to do was try and hide the pipes as much as I can. And you still see that pipe coming in from the top, but I think that's okay. But otherwise, you really don't see many pipes. Now, I actually didn't mention this either with these steam machines, but you do need to set a kind of output steam vent. The good news is it automatically kind of pumps out to the back here, so that's why I didn't push this thing all the way back into the wall. I wanted to give it some space, but every time it completes an operation, it does kind of pump out some steam from the back. If you are standing here when that happens, you will take some damage, so we do want to avoid that, but if it's back here, that shouldn't be an issue. So yeah, that's kind of the basic steam setup we're going to be going for now, but long term, there's going to be some big changes coming to the base, I think, and it's going to kind of be timed around our progression through the Steam Age, so I've been kind of planning ahead a bit. So I've been looking a little bit ahead in the quest book, and we've got quite a bit of stuff to do in the Steam Age, as you can see. We're only up here. We've got a long, long way to go to get anywhere beyond this point. But what I'm wanting to do is we're going to expand out our steam production here. This should last us quite a bit, and we'll have our steam machines all along here for now. And these will be kind of like our basic steam setup. However, what I want to do with the quest book is I want to get to this quest here, which is to make some steel. And that's going to require us to set up a whole nother multi-block structure eventually so that we can start producing steel. And that's around the time when I think we're going to initiate a pretty significant base expansion. So I've mentioned it before, but I think I want a second floor to the base here, but we're also going to push back over into this area. What I'm thinking is we're going to have like a new main crafting area, machine area, kind of centered around this chunk. And we're going to have various different areas in these chunks around it. I'm not quite sure what it's going to look like yet. It's still in the preliminary phases, but it's going to be pretty big area, I think, we're going to be having. So we're going to have quite a large expansion to the base coming in the near future. That's going to be giving us a lot of time to work with some stuff and do some stuff, put a lot of stuff around. But yeah, it's going to be something we do soon, not quite yet, but I want to get to this quest here. I want to be able to start producing steel, and the reason I want to do that is steel does take a long time in the initial stages, so if I can get some steel producing while I'm actually doing this major base expansion, by the time that's done, and we're ready to progress again, we're going to have a ton of steel, and we'll be probably in a good spot on steel at that point. So, yeah, that's kind of the long-term plans right now. And yeah, we'll just kind of see where we're going, but here we are. We're now moving through the steam age. We've got steam coming in. We've got steam machines. We've got steam being produced up here. And we've got water being produced, so we've got everything we need, and it's starting to come together now. So, I think it looks pretty nice over here. I think this looks quite good. So yeah, I think that is going to do it for this episode. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.